Story 1. A Pound of Butter. A farmer sold a pound of butter to a baker. One day, the baker decided to weigh the butter to make sure it was correct, but it didn't happen. He brought the farmer to the court out of anger. The judge asked the farmer what equipment he used to weigh the butter. The farmer replied, "Your Highness, I am an old man. I only have a scale." "How did you weigh the butter?" the judge asked. Farmer said, "Your Excellency, a long time ago, baker started buying butter from me. I also buy 1 pound of bread from her. Every day, when baker brings me 1 pound of bread, I put it on the scale and give him the same amount of butter. If anyone is to blame, it is baker." The moral advice of this story is, from whatever hand you give, you get from the same hand. Story 2. Group of Frogs. A group of frogs were crossing the forest when two of them fell into a deep pit. When the frogs realized the depth of the pit, they told the two of them that there was no hope of rescue. However, those two frogs ignored the words of others and tried to get out of the pit. Despite their efforts, the frogs outside the pit still insisted that their efforts were futile and they should give up. Finally, one of the two frogs listened to the others, gave up, and jumped down from the wall of the pit. And the other frogman continued to jump as long as he had the strength. The frogs were shouting to stop fighting and die. He acted against their words and tried harder and finally succeeded in jumping out of the pit. When he jumped out of the pit, the other frog said to him, "Didn't you hear us?" The frog told him that he was deaf and thought that the frogs were encouraging him to come out of the pit. The moral advice of the story of your words can have a great impact on the lives of others. Think before speaking. The difference is like life and death. Story 3. Elephant Rope. A man was passing by the elephant camp when he noticed that the elephants are not kept in cages and there are no chains attached to their legs. The only thing that stopped them from escaping from the camp was a small piece of rope that was attached to one of their legs. The man was staring at the elephants and was wondering why the elephants did not use their strength to break and run away. Breaking that rope was an easy task for them, but there was no sign of such an effort in them. The curious man, who was looking for the reason, asked a trainer nearby why the elephants did not run away. The trainer replied, "When the elephants are very young and small, we tie a rope to their legs, and it is just the same size that is enough to hold them at that age. As they grow up, they get used to believing that they cannot escape. They believe that the rope can still hold them. That's why they never try to break it." The only reason they did not let the elephants try to break the rope and free themselves was that over time they were used to believing that escape was impossible. The moral of the story is no matter how many obstacles you face in life, always stand in front of them with the belief that there is nothing impossible to achieve what you want. The most important step to reach the goal is to believe in success. Story 4. Thinking outside the framework. Hundreds of years ago, in a small Italian town, a merchant owed a large amount of money to a scoundrel. Finally, he decided to make an effort to the merchants so that their accounts would be completely settled. The old man's proposal was to marry his daughter. Needless to say, his proposal was met with disgust by the merchant. The old prodigal offered to throw 2 pebbles into the bag, one white and the other black. The girl came and took 1 pebble out of the bag. If the black earns money, their debts will be settled with the condition of marriage. If white money is paid, their debts will be settled without the condition of marriage. They were standing on a gravel path in Merchant's garden. The old man bent down and picked up 2 pebbles, while the girl saw that the old man put 2 black pebbles into the bag. The old man, who did not think that the girl smelled a slave, asked him to come to the bag and take one of them out of the bag. The girl had 3 choices before her. Do not accept to take a pebble from inside the bag. Remove both pebbles and reveal the old man's trick. Take a pebble out of the bag and sacrifice himself to his father's debts, knowing that it is black. He took a pebble out of the bag and pretended to accidentally drop it from his hand onto the pebble-covered ground before anyone else saw it, and turned to the eater and said, "Wow, how clumsy I am. It doesn't matter what the pebble inside the remaining bag was. Which one was the fallen pebble?" It is clear that the remaining pebble is also black. And since he didn't want his trick to be exposed, he had no choice but to pretend that the pebble that fell to the ground was white and clear. The merchant's debt without the condition of marrying his daughter.